Are you a real estate investor looking to elevate your income, freedom, and lifestyle? If so, optimize your daily performance by downloading our free guide, Raising the Bar, 5 Steps to Elevate Your Habits at elevatepod.com. In this guide, created by yours truly, you'll learn why you do what you do, how to easily institute cues in your environment to trigger desired behavior, directly applicable steps to create a fulfilling future, and much more. Get your free copy now at elevatepod.com and kickstart your new habits today. Your future self will thank you.
Welcome to Elevate, the masterclass where we dissect the elements of exceptional achievement and lifestyle design with a focus on personal growth and real estate investing. Now, here's your host, Tyler Chesser.
Elevate Nation, welcome back. This is Tyler Chesser. I'm so thankful to have you here, and I am blessed and grateful to be sitting with you, me, myself, and I, on another edition of Elevate Exclusive with Tyler. And I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity to pour into you today. So thank you for showing up, and buckle up because it's going to be a phenomenally value-added experience today. If it's your first time listening to Elevate, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Elevate Nation. This is where, we come to expand our minds, to develop as human beings, to develop as investors, and to expand our mindset into new possibilities, to new realms, because anything is possible for our future if we allow ourselves to not only believe that, but also commit to that and set our own path on daily execution towards that end. And so with all that said, I want to welcome you. I want to invite you to pay the fee. Pay it forward. Share this episode with a friend, family member, associate, business associate, someone that you just met. Grab the link and send in a text message, send in an email, put it on social media, whatever you need to do. Just invite you to pay the fee today. Also give us a rating, review, and subscribe or follow Elevate Podcasts on wherever it is that you listen or watch podcasts. And we're going to continue to bring massive value. With all that said, I want to talk to you and talk with you about something that I think is highly important. And if we want to achieve big things in real estate, it comes down to teamwork. It comes down to building and strengthening and optimizing our team, because it's not going to be just about our efforts and our expertise and our talents and our strengths, but it also comes down to leveraging the strengths of others, investing in other people, giving other people the opportunity of supporting our dreams and our visions, and applying that principle, who, not how, that we talk about so much on this podcast and with so many of the amazing guests that we've had on Elevate. So I'd like to start off with an amazing quote by one of my heroes, and you may have heard of him. His name is Michael Jordan. He said, "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." I'll mention that again. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. So you want to think about someone who is probably at the pinnacle of talent. That's Michael Jordan. But what he mentioned was it's not about just winning games. I think that's the kind of read in between the lines of this quote or this philosophy. That's what wins games. But if we want to win championships, it comes down to teamwork and intelligence. And I think intelligence comes from teamwork. If you think about somebody who's been the godfather of many things in the real estate industry, you think of Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki shared that his rich dad, and in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, learned from his team of advisors, his team, his real estate team, or the people that were advising him in various capacities. And we'll talk about who those members are. But you think about it, and it's like, these are the real teachers, people who are actually doing things. They're going out there, they're trying, they're failing, they're receiving feedback. Failure is not fatal, it's only feedback. And advisors and team members in this business, which is really a sport, it's a team sport. When we surround ourselves with other people, that's how we gain intelligence. We gain smarts by not only receiving that feedback, but allowing ourselves to expand beyond just our own strengths and weaknesses. And so it's important for us to recognize that if we want to apply who, not how, we have to recognize that there is unlimited and infinite intelligence in surrounding ourselves with a team. And so I want to talk to you about assembling that team. And I want to talk to you about where you can find these individuals, how you can evolve your team over time. And I want to challenge you at the end to make a commitment. And so let's talk about this. So first of all, who do you need on your real estate team? No matter what stage of real estate investing you're on, the key foundational principle is that you must have a team, right? This is not a go it alone sport. It's not a, an individual, champion sport. This is an opportunity for you to expand your network. And the first thing you got to recognize is that you're not going to do it all. In fact, there's going to be many, many times where you're truly just conducting an orchestra. And that's what we really do within CF Capital is we conduct an orchestra and we give people the resources and the clarity to execute on our behalf. And of course, we support them and we help, knock down any sort of challenges or roadblocks in their way. And we support them. And we give them the opportunity to succeed on our behalf. There's no way that I would be able to do this podcast as an example if I didn't have a team. And so I want to challenge you to think about where are you on your path as I describe this? Where is your greatest opportunity for growth and improvement? And where are you missing maybe some coverage on your team? And I want you to be thinking about what are my goals this year? What are my goals next year? What are my goals over the next 3 years? Maybe even the next 10 years? And think about how your team might be evolving over that period of time as well. So let's start with this. Many of you know my background prior to being a full-time investor was being a real estate broker. And I can tell you that experience, as well as now my experience on this side of the table, this side of the fence, whatever you want to call it, shows me that a real estate broker or brokers are a critical part of your team. And if you're looking to grow your portfolio, you've got to have deal flow. And depending on the type of asset class that you're focusing on, whether it's multifamily, single family, office, retail, industrial, self-storage, mobile home parks, raw land, you name it, you need deal sources. And for the most part, in commercial real estate across various asset classes, the greatest deal sources are real estate brokers. And so you've got to have at least one real estate broker on your team, maybe someone who's representing you on the buy side, but maybe you have many real estate broker relationships that are sourcing deals, that are bringing deals that meet your acquisition criteria on a regular basis. They need to be on your team. You need to develop rapport with them. You need to strengthen trust between yourself and them. That says, hey, look, I get things done. I'm easy to work with. I'm good to work with. I'm clear to work with. I'm quick to work with. And, strengthening that relationship over a period of time is important. That's one of the first team members that you want to make sure you have on your team. You also want to make sure you have a quality lender on your team, whether it's a mortgage broker or a direct relationship or relationships at various banks, depending on the type of asset that you're acquiring. For us, we really focus on our mortgage broker relationship because they help us source many different debt opportunities for our acquisitions across many different providers. So for us, that's a very, very important team member. So you want to be thinking about, well, who is providing my debt? Who is providing my leverage? And how are they advising me? Ultimately, we're talking about a team of advisors today. So think about your lender, think about your attorney or attorneys as well. You want to have a real estate specific focused attorney, someone who is well-versed in all things legal from a real estate perspective, not only from crafting your purchase and sale agreements, but reviewing leases or other legal documents that may be attached with the acquisitions that you're making, advising you on an ongoing basis on various legal matters. It's very important. If you're going to be syndicating larger deals or creating a fund for larger deals, you want to have another attorney or another legal counsel. And that comes down to securities expertise. And so that's someone that you may need on your team. So just keep that in mind. As we continue down the list here, bookkeeper, you got to have a bookkeeper on your team. What's happening within your organization, within each property. You got to keep things clean, and you don't want to be really collecting receipts and putting them in a shoebox. That's not really a way for you to scale a business. So you need someone who can help you keep the books clean, keep things organized, and keep things clear so that you can communicate to your lender for a refinance. You can communicate to a broker who's wanting to give you a broker opinion of value, or a buyer who may want to take a property off your hands so that you can exit and hit your goals, right? You want to get a bookkeeper early and often for a bookkeeper. Real estate accountant, of course, is going to be very important for you. You want to make sure that you are staying legal in terms of how you're reporting income and all that good stuff. And of course, a tax accountant, someone who can help you strategize on how you're handling taxes. Taxes are the largest expense that we have as real estate investors. And so how are we being strategic with how we're handling taxes? That comes down to allowing someone to advise you. we focus on CPAs. We focus on people who have a great reputation that match our risk profile. It's like we want to make sure that we stay legal. We also want to make sure that we are aggressive and that we are capitalizing where we need to capitalize, we're expensing where we need to capitalize, and so forth. And we are strategic in terms of how does this overlay into our goals. And we talked about goals a few months ago on Elevate exclusive with Tyler. And so I wanted to stack on this by helping us strengthen and develop our team, because ultimately it's not going to come from all from us. This is another prime example of that. Another example of a team member would be an insurance agent, an insurance broker, you name it. Obviously, insurance can be a very volatile thing. It has been a very volatile thing over the past several months. And, one of the things that you need to be thinking about is how are you insuring your properties? How are you insuring your company? How are you insuring your life? I mean, you got to be thinking about all these things because you can be potentially a target for others. So insurance is going to be critically important. Of course, it comes down to execution. One of the most important things, of course, especially in multifamily business, which is what we're focused on, is property management. And so you've got to have a property management, either advisor or, a staff on your properties and, or, some back of office type of management. There's a lot that goes into execution of a sound property management strategy, but you want to make sure that you have a property manager on your team. I can tell you when I got started in this business, I was all of these things. I was the property manager. I was the broker, literally. I was I will say I was not the accountant or the tax accountant, but I was probably the bookkeeper. And I can tell you that all of those things compounded into the fact that I wasn't doing any of them well. And so obviously take advice from me and say, what can you outsource? And these are some great examples of outsourcing. So whether you have these team members now, I want you to rank them. What are your top team members? Who's performing the best? Who do you feel most solid about? To who do you feel least solid about? And focus on either improving that, coaching them up, or coaching them out. Because sometimes people just don't make the snuff for what it is that you're looking to accomplish. So always be comfortable in doing that. And as we continue here, just some other team members to consider for you would be, an escrow officer, someone to hold escrow for you when you're doing a transaction, or the same for security deposits and so forth. Also appraisers. You can think about appraisers that are going to be important for refinances or acquisitions. Developing those relationships are important. Property management contractors or general contractors or even subcontractors are team members that you want to think about, whether it's plumbers, handymen, electricians, carpenters. There's so much more. If you are expanding your team into development, you want to expand this part of your team as well. And I think that's the other big picture too, is that as your real estate investing evolves and grows, your team needs will evolve and grow. And so you've always got to be taking an inventory of how does this look right now? Does this match where I'm going this year over the next 3 years? And how does that need to evolve? And always be anticipating where things are going, right? Where is your portfolio going? Where is your execution going? How is it now? And so taking that inventory is important. So where can you find these folks? It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And we've talked a lot about networking, building relationships, learning. It does start with education, right? You want to continue to educate yourself. It begins there, of course, as you know, kind of beginning your real estate journey. It's about understanding, well, what are those team members? And then I can put them in place. What should my goals be, or what should a good goal look like, and reverse engineering that process. So of course, educating yourself is where we begin. But we've got to think about, well, where are we influencing and where are we being influenced? And there's many different opportunities for us to put ourselves in position to build relationships. And I'll just list a few examples that you can consider as you're building out your 2022, so you can figure out, well, where do I need to be? What type of relationships do I need to start building? And where can I find these folks? The easy answer is Google, right? Go to Google, right? But that's also the lazy answer, right? It's certainly a place for you to go and research, who are the property managers or tax accountants in my area or that support individuals like me. Of course you can do that, but let's not stop there. That's the easy answer. And that's really just the bare minimum. And of course, if you're listening to Elevate, you know that the bare minimum isn't really going to get you anywhere. Good is not good enough anymore. And also, I think if you're here, you have a desire for much more than just good. You're looking for the extraordinary. So how do you build your team? I would suggest that you go to real estate seminars. I would suggest that you network at those seminars. You keep an open mind for what are your top 1 to 3 goals for each seminar. You may have a goal that, hey, I'm looking for an attorney, and this is one of my top goals. And so when you go to those seminars, keep that in your mind and network and share that with other people around at the seminar that you are looking for an attorney. And here's exactly what you envision your attorney to do and to be and to deliver for you. And as you share that, you start to network and people will deliver that for you, because I think you start to recognize that the most successful real estate investors are those that have done the hard work of networking over the years. And they always want to add value to you. So if you give them the opportunity, that's a beautiful position to be in. Also, real estate clubs. There may be RIA groups in your area that you can join, that you can be a part of, that you can spend time at on a weekly, biweekly, or even monthly basis, or even quarterly basis. So you want to be in those groups so that you know who has a good reputation, who doesn't have a good reputation, who's coming up, who's exiting. You need to know what's going on, and being a part of those real estate clubs can be extremely valuable. Of course, you could also look at community colleges or county education programs, whether it's with your local university, local college. What programs do they put on? And you may find some resources for various individuals that you need to network with that could potentially be on your team. I know that the Rich Dad, Poor Dad group, or the Rich Dad Advisors, they do cash flow game clubs in various cities across America. You could check those out. Of course, professional networking organizations, groups like BNI are great examples of this. Chambers of Commerce are another great example of how you can go out and meet people, start to build your team. And ultimately, the foundation of all of this is ask for referrals, no matter where you are. You can also just be proactive and reach out to people that you know who are either experiencing success in your business, in other markets, and you can say, hey, what do you suggest? Or you can just ask other people, who is it that you know who I should be working with on the property management, or who's doing the best job in this type of property? And as you continue to ask that, you start to find some commonalities, you start to see some patterns. And so that's really, really important. But as you really dive in further, and as you start to get to know some of these people, you might even consider asking questions to those potential team members. How much experience do you have in this field and in this particular type of real estate? How long have you been in business? And is it appealing to you to be a part of an investing team like what I'm describing here? Do you have clients in the same type of projects that I'm looking to acquire and to invest in? Are these type of projects that you would invest in yourself? What's your policy for returning messages? Is it reasonable for me to expect 24 to 48 hours? If so, what times a day do you typically work? Will you be handling my business yourself, or will you be outsourcing it within your organization or otherwise? How much do you charge? What does that look like? What type of investment should I be expecting to make? What references do you have? So these are just some practical tips and examples of how you can strengthen and build your team. And no matter where you are in your journey, you can course correct and improve. No matter where your team is, there's always another level. And so I would just suggest that you take an inventory, and I want you to kind of think through, what does that look like? Who's performing best? Who's performing on the lowest end of the spectrum? And how can we bring them up to the best, right? Because this is always a constant process. We are the quarterbacks of our team. And so now it's not only about us recruiting, it is about us coaching, it's about us executing, and it's about us evaluating on a continual basis. Let's watch some film. And we were talking about Michael Jordan earlier on a phenomenal quote. Now I have another one from Andrew Carnegie, who says, teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common vision. The ability to work to direct individual accomplishments towards organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. So again, this is for us, really, we have to take extreme ownership in the capacity of our team, right? We set the foundation, we network, we find them, we put them in place, we communicate with them, but it is us really developing and communicating that common vision. What is the vision that we're after, and how can we get everyone working in harmony together and directing those individual accomplishments towards the objectives that you have and that really the team has together, allowing their input as well. Because it's not just about how smart are you. It is about how smart is the collective group, right? The intelligence that you can develop through your team. Napoleon Hill says it is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others succeed. And I agree with that. And so when you're developing your team, when you're finding new team members, just be thinking, how can I help you, by the way? Because I know that, a real estate broker, as an example, they may be on my team, but they may be on many other investors' team, right? I may have a tax accountant that's supporting myself and many other investors as well. So how can I help you? What can I do to help you? Always asking that question and making that a foundational practice is a game changer. And I can tell you that your competitors and other team leaders, quote unquote, may not be asking those questions. So allow yourself to be set apart and your business and your goals to be treated with higher importance as a result of offering assistance and value to other people and finding those ways to do it without just asking, right? Offer and add value no matter what, because like Napoleon Hill says, you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed themselves. And so ultimately, this comes down to commitment, right? Are you interested in this? Or are you committed to this? And I can tell you that if you want to do the biggest things in your life, it comes down to commitment. Because if you're interested, when there's something inconvenient, something that knocks you off course, then, it sounded great, but I don't need to do that. I don't need to go there. And the other side of it is, if you get knocked off course, which you will, then you show up and you say, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I don't care how inconvenient it is. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how difficult or painful it is. I will do whatever it takes. So here's what Seth Godin said. The great Seth Godin, a former Elevate guest himself, said, you don't need a plan for next year. You need a commitment. And guess what? It's 2022. You don't need a plan for next year. You have the plan. We talked about this plan, but ultimately what's more important is you need a commitment. So what is your commitment today? What are you going to commit to take action on now as a result of listening to this podcast today? I want to encourage you to not only re-listen to this episode, but share this with a friend, have a discussion with a team member as a result of this conversation, as a result of this podcast, and either coach them up, coach them out, or find a new team member to support your greatest visions. Commit to that end today and watch your future unfold. Elevate Nation, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, we will see you then. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Elevate. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to elevate your results by taking immediate action on what you learned. For more, visit elevatepod.com.